Hello everyone, I hope you're fine and ready for today's presentation. This is Jacob Marquez and let's go. Let's get down to the story. As you can see from the picture, there's a boy. One day this boy put his hand into a container full of golden coins. He grasped as many as he could possibly hold. But when he tried to pull out his hand was stuck by the neck of the container. Unwilling to lose the coins and unable to withdraw his hand, he started crying. An old man said to him, "Be satisfied with half the quantity and your hand will be freed." Let's try to look at these couple of questions. What was wrong with the boy's hand? As you might see through the text, it's already in bold. It says that his hand was stuck. So the boy's hand was stuck inside the container and he couldn't take it out. So his hand was stuck in the container. Number two, what was the old man's advice? Again, in the text it's clear that the old man said to him, "Be satisfied with half the quantity and your hand will be freed." By looking at these two answers, they are already in red. It's clear that here we're talking about his hand was stuck. The second answer, and his hand will be freed. Now, you might ask yourself why we are here focusing and concentrating on his hand. We're not focusing on him or the container. Yeah, you might know that this is the passive voice, right? Now let's have more examples about this one to clarify the idea. Let's take a look at this example from the student's book, Unit 6. Camouflage protects sand gazelles from predators. Now the verb protects is in the present simple tense. When we change it into passive, how do you think it's going to be? Now let's see. Sand gazelles are protected from predators by camouflage. So what happened to protects? We added are, which is in the present, and then protected. What form of verb is protected? Now we'll find out more information. Another example, if hunters are threatening the sand gazelles, they can run away. Again, look at the verb, are threatening. Now the tense here is present continuous. What do you think will happen? Look at the formation, are. If sand gazelles are being threatened, here we added being because it's already continuous, right? Of course, this is just like an introduction to the grammar. We'll have more examples and explanations. Look at the picture before we move on. The sand gazelle is using their speed and agility to evade the attention of predators. So their speed and agility are used to evade the attention of predators. The crocodile is one of the sand gazelle's predators. More examples from different sources. Look at this example. Matsuyama is the person's name, is a Japanese name. Matsuyama scratched the message on wood. Looking at the verb, scratched is in the past simple ending with ed. So the passive will be different from the previous examples. When changing into passive, the message was scratched on wood by Matsuyama. So here, what did we add? We added was, because it's in the past simple, then scratched. Another example, Paulina's father found the sailor's bottle. Take a look at the verb, found is in the past simple. When changing into passive, we add something. As always, we add was, because it's in the past, and found, past participle of the verb. This is the message. Paulina's father found the sailor's bottle, and the bottle contained a message. To have a better understanding of the passive voice formation, let's take a look at this example. Someone cleans the streets every day. It's clear, it's quite clear that we start the sentence with the subject as always, someone, cleans is the verb, then the streets, the object of the sentence. When we change the focus of the sentence, instead of focusing more on who cleans the streets, we're focusing on what is happening. So we're focusing on the action. So we're changing the position of the object to be in the subject position, so it's the new subject. So the streets becomes in the beginning of the sentence. Then are is added. Why do you think that are is added to the verb? Because the verb is originally in the present, so we added are, cleaned, past participle, and etc. The complement of the sentence. So to sum up everything, the formation of passive voice is quite simple. We add verb to be, of course, depending on the original verb tense, and the passive voice can be in any tense depending on the sentence. So we add be, then past participle of the verb, and of course the be can be in any tense, the same verbal tense of the active sentence. So this is the rule. This is quite simple, I hope. So we add be again, we add be depending on the original verb, then the past participle of the verb. Let's take a look. Columbus discovered America in 1492. Columbus is the subject of the verb. Discovered is ed, so it's in the past simple. We need something suitable for it. Then America is the object. When we change the focus, so we bring America to the beginning, right? America becomes the focus, so we change the position, becomes the subject, the new subject. America was discovered, look, we added was because ed is in the past. So was discovered, so we added again. I'm repeating because this is the whole point of the grammar. We added was because America is in the singular noun, then discovered is in the past. So we need was discovered by Columbus in 1492. And here we added by to mention the agent or who did the action. To rephrase and make it clearer about the structure of the passive voice, we simply add be and past participle of the verb. But remember, this be is changeable, so it can change depending on the verb tense, huh? So be is in the infinitive. What about the present? As you might know, we use am for the pronoun I, is for he, she, it, and are for we, they, and you. Those forms, the conjugation of be in the present, am, is, are used in the present. What about the past? The past of am and is was, and the past of are is were. And those two, as we mentioned before, are in the past. The past participle form is been. Remember, we use this one in the perfect tenses. So there should be have, has, had before. What about the continuous? Automatically we add ing if we see ing in the main verb. So this is quite the diagram and the conjugation of the verb be in the different tenses. Remember, be is changeable. Why? I mean, why do we use the passive voice in the first place? What is the passive voice? We use the passive voice to change the focus of the action. To focus more on the action rather than the actor or the doer of the action. So instead of mentioning or focusing on who did the action, we focus on the action itself. This example clarifies the idea. My grandfather built a house. So here we're focusing on the subject. My grandfather who did the action, he's the actor. He's the actor of the action. Built is the verb and a house is the object, right? So here our focus, because it's an active voice, we're focusing on the actor, on the subject, on the doer of the action. When we change into passive, look, the formation is changed. The position is changed. We changed house into the beginning. We moved house to be the focus of our attention. A house was built by my grandfather. So a house is the new subject. My grandfather is the agent. of the sentence. So we're changing the house focus. That's it. This is the whole point of the passive. In the following 3 sentences, we'll have a better look at the different tenses of the passive voice. Let's read this example. When the Lardale Tunnel was being designed, they decided to divide it into 4 sections. I hope you got the tense here. Look at the tense, was being designed. What tense do you think it is? It's past continuous, huh? Was being designed. Now the question, is it clear who designed the tunnel? Did they say who designed the tunnel? Actually, they didn't. So why? Maybe it's clear who designed the tunnel. It's definitely not the teachers, doctors, nor drivers. It's absolutely or definitely engineers and maybe planners who designed the tunnel. So we use the passive voice when the subject or the agent is clear. It's obvious who did the action. Number 2, the date of the meeting has been changed. Look, the tense here is in the present perfect. Again, who changed the date of the meeting? I don't know. It's not clear. They didn't say who changed the date of the meeting. So we use the passive voice when it is not known. It's unknown who changed the date of the meeting. Number 3, you were phoned at 7:45 this evening. Now again, who phoned? Why isn't this information given? Because it's not important maybe. I don't care. I don't care who phoned you. So that's it. We use the passive voice when it is obvious, it's clear who did the action, when it is unimportant to mention who did the action, or when we don't know who did the action. So why the use of the active? We use the active to focus on the subject, what the subject does. While in the passive, we use the passive to focus on the action rather than the subject, rather than the actor. What about the negative of the passive voice? To form a negative in the passive, we simply add not to the verb be, plus the past participle as we agreed before. For example, gazelles do not kill hunters. Gazelles do not, look at the verb, do not kill is in the present simple. So accordingly, we add are, because hunters, the new subject, has moved to the beginning, is in the plural form, is a plural noun. So we add are in the present, are not killed by gazelles. Of course, hunters are not killed by gazelles. It's the other way around. Gazelles are killed by hunters. Let's take another example. The dog did not chase the cat. Look at the verb. The did not is in the past, so we should add something in the past as well. Be in the past was not. So the cat was not chased by the dog. Again, you should also pay attention to the formation of the sentence. The cat has moved to be in the beginning of the sentence, to be the new subject. Was not, we added was, because it's in the past. By the dog, it's the agent. So the cat was not chased by the dog. What are we adding? We're adding be, followed by not. What about the question? To make the interrogative form of the passive voice, we need to switch between the subject and the verb be. As in this example, why are trees cut down? Trees, as you might notice, is in the middle between the verb be and the past participle. But when we go and answer the question, why are trees cut down? Look at the answer. Trees are cut down to use the lands for growing crops. Look at this example in the present perfect. What have the lands been turned into? The lands have been turned into farmlands or building lands. This one is in the future. When will the desert be reclaimed? The desert will be reclaimed when we plant more trees. Now, let's put your English grammar knowledge into practice by doing the following exercises. Only 2 sentences with the same verb. So what's the difference? The difference is in the beginning. It is the focus. The first one, the pyramids, which is the result of the action. Number two, the Egyptians, which is the doer or the actor of the verb. So which one do you think is the passive and which one do you think is the active? I think you're thinking correctly. Number one, the pyramids, is the passive voice. The pyramids were built by the Egyptians. Number two, the Egyptians built the pyramids in around 3000. Now, to wrap everything up, we form the passive voice by adding the verb be in whatever tense we need. Then we put the verb in the past participle. And of course, remember, you can always go back to your activity books for further information and examples. Page number 85, you've got plenty of examples and explanations. It's worth noting that the passive voice in English can be in any tense as in the active voice. Herein, you can simply find a list of the possible tenses in the active and in the passive. The present simple, the present continuous, the past simple, the past continuous, the present perfect, the past perfect, the future simple, the future with be going to, the modal verb, any modal verb, and the modal verb perfect tense. Thank you for listening. This was Jacob Arquez, and best regards. And this is the end. Stay tuned for more educational videos. Bye-bye.